Hey guys, hope you guys are doing great. I'm doing fine, thank you. Today we're going to talk about the backlash on the Netflix docu-series Cleopatra. That docu-series was produced by Gender Pickett and starring the black actress Adele James in the role of Cleopatra. A lot of backlash ensued the release of, and even before the release of that docu-series, because they did Gender Pickett and Netflix did select a black Cleopatra, And to be honest with you, I don't understand why all this backlash. I mean, we're going to look into it. I don't understand all this backlash because at the end of the day, answering the question, once you do all the investigation and you do all your research as you're supposed to do and not believe people at face value, you understand that asking that question about how was Cleopatra black is answering the question itself, because we just don't know. And historically, from what people say that they have found, right, we just don't know, right? We're going to get down to it, but please, at first, for the first, I would like you guys, please, to subscribe and to like the video. I'm trying to build this channel, and I will be very, very happy and thankful if you guys could help me and give me a hand with subscribing and clicking. Just takes a second. Second thing that I'm going to say, guys, is just that I'm French speaking originally, right? Not originally because I'm African originally, right? So I do have my language that I speak. Basically, it makes that I speak, like, then in that case, three languages. But the one that I'm going to be honest, the one that I speak the best currently is French. So I'm gonna try to make this in English. It's a little bit hard for me to do something that is that detailed and that specific in English, right? But I'm gonna try to do it, right, for you guys, just for you guys, right? So we're going to start again. Remember what I said. I don't understand why there is actually a feud in the selection of a black actress as Cleopatra, right? So let's go right away into the thick of the matter, right? So yeah, so that series started. To be honest with you, I looked at it. I liked it, find it great. Didn't even know that there was some issues about portraying Cleopatra as black, right? And to be honest, it's the story that I liked, right? And I do understand that people, if it was proven that Cleopatra example was Caucasian, white, stuff like that, and that we portrayed as a black actress by a black actress, I do understand that there's some resentment and that people can be obfuscated and angered by that selection. But this is not the case, right? And we're going to see why. In the first thing that we're going to talk about, I mean, you see all the research that I made on Netflix, right, on YouTube, and you can see all the feud that there is. You know that there's this guy, I don't know even what is his name, right, who is actually saying that the same thing. Yeah, they shouldn't have picked up a black Cleopatra, right? And that we're playing with the Egyptian heritage, right? Right? Like if he was the Egyptian heritage, like he knew what the Egyptian heritage is, right? But we're not going to go too deep in detail. But when I look at this, right, I just want to say the following. Currently, is that it started with the Egyptian authorities claiming that the documentary should pay a lot more attention to be how aligned with the real what really happened in history, with the real fact of history. And again, like I'm telling you, is that this is a bunch of BS, because we're going to go through it and we're going to look at the way that I investigated that thing, going through certain articles, right? And we're going to see that they have no idea from what they're saying. At the start of the phrase, they're saying one thing. At the end of the phrase, they're saying it's opposite, right? So let's be clear about that. Now, you can see that a lot of the people that are actually following that movement, being angry at gender picket, adult James, throwing hate at them, right? Actually, black people as well, right? Who are trying to be, I can say that in French. There's a saying in French that says you want to be a better believer than the Pope, right? And that's what these guys are trying to do. And I'm talking about example that girl here, right? That has so many followers and who's saying basically that Cleopatra was example was a Greek descendant. She was Greek. Actually, she's saying she was Greek, so she couldn't be black, right? Hey, hey, lady, 300 years that the Ptolemy dynasty was ruling Egypt, right? And went through different Ptolemy pharaohs, right? Forget about all these statues and all that stuff, right? 300 years, right? 300 years. And I think that is a little bit nearsighted. And I think that she deserves to do a little bit more research before coming here and telling his 7 millions, the 7 million people that have viewed her video that they should just, the black people should just shut up, right? And if they want that their own heroes, that they can go and find their own heroes where they really impacted the history, right? But hey, where they really impacted history. So that's where I'm coming with that line again: blackwashing history vs saving black history. Because at the end of the day, the black people haven't won a lot of wars, right? And we know that history is written by the one who have won the wars, right? So we are still trying on our side to save our black history, to 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 gain back our black history from all the whitewashing, the Egyptian washing, the French washing, the this washing of that black history. That's what she has to realize. And when I say that she wants to be more believer than the Pope itself, is that she's trying to be a lot more fair than the Egyptian themselves and giving them okay the or approval to go ahead and definitely, put us in the dirt, right? Basically, right? So that's what I want you guys to remember. First of all, do your research. That would be quite interesting. That would be great, right? And second of all, I mean, at the end of the day, right? I think that Black history have been whitewashed, Egyptian washed, French washed a lot more than this. That's we are talking that that to make a case about the Cleopatra issue, right? Especially that the Cleopatra issue doesn't make sense. So let's understand why, and let's look a little bit at some. And I mean, you got some guys who are, scholars and who are giving like good points and good understanding of the ancient history of Egypt and how it did unfold, right? And how these people were living and the kind of travel that they did, the kind of population and complexion and race that were there in Egypt at one point of time, right? Because definitely when we're looking at the situation right now, this is not the same situation as back in the days. And I'm not even going to listen to this guy here because this is totally crazy, right? I'm not going to listen to this guy. So you can listen to it, but we see a lot of crazy stuff just for the simple fact that we selected a black actress as Cleopatra. But that's totally unbelievable, guys. That's, to be honest, it's totally unbelievable. And you're going to understand even more why it is unbelievable, right? So let's start by this text here, right? Because I think that that's the one that is giving us like the summary of what I just told you, right? So this guy, the question obviously again is, and the title is, okay, weighing the evidence, was Cleopatra black, right? Because that's what we're talking about right now, right? We want to know if Cleopatra was black because that's the That's the heart of the trouble. That's the heart of the question. That's the heart of the issue. And all of the freaking blame that is going on social media right now against Jada Pinkett, Adele James, who has nothing to do in it. She's just an actress right now, and Netflix, who have heard this docu-series. So let's go, and let's read it. And I'm going to bring you quickly to the thick of the matter. So let's start by this paragraph here. Was Cleopatra Egyptian? All right, that's an interesting question because the guy, what the guy is saying is that if Cleopatra was not an Egyptian, because we know that her ancestors were from Macedonia, right? So if she was not an Egyptian, then the question is not asked anymore. We know that she was Caucasian, right? Or at least we know that she was not black, right? But if the opposite is true, right, then there's the question remains alive, right? The question is still there. So let's just read through it. If Cleopatra was Egyptian in heritage, if she was descendant from native Egyptian, then the heritage of Egyptian in general is relevant to the question of whether Cleopatra was black or not, right? Was black or not. Why? Because we know that there were different complexion in Egypt at a certain point in time, right? So the question was there, right? The question was there. So if Cleopatra heritage was not Egyptian, then the arguments about whether Egyptians were black are irrelevant to her own blackness. Makes sense. And I totally do agree with that, right? Meaning that at the end of the day, if they succeeded to keep their pure Macedonian blood without any enrichment from the Egyptian community, the Egyptian people at the time, then yes, we can say there's no question about it. Whether the Egyptian were in majority black community, black complexion, doesn't have anything to do with her, right? It would just mean that she would on her side or her family, the pharaohs there, like that they say they marry between, and they were known to do that, to marry and to be incestuous and to marry between brothers and sisters and so on and so forth, father and I don't know, but yeah, so that's the only way. So if that's the case, it's a non-event. We know exactly what the situation is. But if Cleopatra had some Egyptian in her, then the question is alive, and that then we can ask that question. The question has value to know if she was black or not, right? So you have to listen. You have to make your research. You cannot just believe people at face value. You cannot just believe because someone has, you see a movie, right? No, go do your research anyway, and after that put two and two together and select what in your opinion looks to make a lot more sense. Okay, so now let's go at it and read what is going to give you your answer, people, right? And then you're going to understand that the question itself does not make sense, and you're going to understand why did they ask this question. And so is there another type of agenda in there to discredit, example, the Afrocentric movement, right? Black people trying to get back their history, trying to save their black history from all that Egyptian blackwashing, from all that French blackwashing, from all that whitewashing, basically, of history. Because again, like I said, history is written by the guy who won the wars, not the one that loses it, right? So let's go, and you're going to understand. So the Ptolemy dynasty, of which Cleopatra was the last ruler, was descendant from a Greek Macedonian named Ptolemy Soter. So this guy, obviously, like we know, he was the general, one of the general of Alexander the Great, right? So the first Ptolemy was established.
Here's a station you might like. All hits in DJ mode on Amazon Music.
Oh my
You're
God!
listening to All
What
Hits
the hell is
Radio
this?
in
All right, guys. Sorry. Uh, so the Ptolemy dynasty. So where was I? I was surprised. So that first Ptolemy was established as a ruler of Egypt. By the way, what you just heard, like, is the what is that? Google something that speaks. Hey Google, tell me this, tell me that. That's what it is. So okay, let's move on. So yeah, so um, Cleopatra is a descendant from that general of Alexander the Great. So they're saying that the first Ptolemy was established as a ruler. Let me show you where I'm reading because I don't want to lose you guys. That first Ptolemy was established as a ruler of Egypt by Alexander the Great conquest. Alexander the Great's conquest of Egypt in 305 BCE. In other words, the Ptolemies were imperialist outsiders, Greeks, who ruled over native Egyptian. No worries. We agree. We agree. And we're following you. You know what? We're following what you're saying. Many of the, and I hope you guys over there at home, you're following what this guy is saying, right? Because right now, he is one of the most, like, let's say, most impartial that I can see right now. Because yeah, it's the one of the most impartial that I can see right now. Who was talking about that subject, right? Trying to give us the fact, right? And from the fact, trying to see and to understand and come to a conclusion. Okay, so let's follow his methodology here. How he's going about it. Many of the Ptolemy ruling family marriage were incestuous, right? That's what I just said. That's what we just said. We know that it was incestuous, that they were marrying inside of their own family, brothers and sisters, and all that, to keep the bloodline pure. And what else? Incestuous with brothers marrying sisters, but not all the children born in the. But listen to this. This is important. Many of the Ptolemy ruling family marriage were incestuous. So a lot of them did marry inside the family, brothers and sisters, right? With brothers marrying sisters. Okay, we got that. But not all the children born in the Ptolemy line and who are ancestors of Cleopatra 7 are known to have had both and mother who were Ptolemies. Both fathers and mothers, both fathers and mothers who were Ptolemies. Right? So what does that mean here? And you see already, you guys are smart. You guys are smart, right? You're not I'm not going to say that she's not smart, right? But she didn't do her research. She didn't do her research like she should have done her research, right? Right. So but you guys understand now what I'm trying to say here, right? So what I'm saying basically is that yes, the Ptolemy family, the Ptolemy dynasty was known to marry inside their own family, inside their own blood, brothers and sisters marrying each other, right? But not all of them did, right? Not all of the ancestors of Cleopatra did marry. Oh, we don't know. Did marry internally in, with the same blood, right? So that's very important because if we come back to what he was saying here as an assumption is that if we're sure that the bloodline has kept pure, then there's no question Cleopatra is not black, right? But if we are not sure that they did marry from the time that they took the power to Cleopatra's generation, which spanned over 300 years, which spanned, again, I repeat, over 300 years, then we cannot say, we're not sure, we don't know if she was black or not, but there would be a possibility that she would be black, right? There would be a possibility that she would be black. So now let's listen to the conclusion that he's giving us in this other paragraph here. Here is the key evidence in the argument, right? We are not certain of the heritage of Cleopatra's mothers or her paternal grandfather. We just don't know for sure who those women were, right? And again, don't try to say that okay, it's just this guy who's saying that. Even those guys, the Egyptian, in their memo, in what they're saying, are confirming that we don't know. And I'm going to make you read what they're saying about this movie, and you're going to understand that at the end of the day, why is everybody's making a fuss about this stuff, right? Why? So here, we just don't know for sure who those women were. Historically, historical records are not conclusive of what their ancestry is or what land they come from. Okay, so he's confirming what we're saying here. His historical records are not conclusive of what their ancestry is or what land they come from, right? That leaves 50% to 75% of Cleopatra ancestry and genetic heritage unknown. That's huge, bro. That's huge, right? So again, this is just what one guy is saying after him having done those research and come up with right his answer. So unknown and reap for speculation. For real. Is there any evidence that either her mother or paternal grandmother was a black African? No. Is there any evidence that either of those women were not black African? Not either. Again, right? So there are theories and speculation based on sparse evidence, but not certainty. Right? Makes sense, right? Not certainty. Where either of those women came from or what might be, right? In 19th century terms, what would be their racial heritage, right? So, guys, let's come back again. We have all this freaking story that is going on, all this freaking backlash, right? That is going on against Netflix series, that is going on against Jada Pinkett Smith, that is going on against Ethel James, who has nothing to do with it, against Netflix. And at the end of the day, like I was telling you again earlier at the beginning, right? Uh, Asking the question really is giving the answer. And the answer is pretty simple. We just don't know. And if we just don't know, you have two things that you can do. Or you decide not to show Cleopatra in your documentary and just show maybe a statue that maybe you don't even know where it's coming from. Or I'm just kidding there. I'm taking it one step a little bit too far. But anyway, yeah, what I'm saying is they got two solutions. They show her, or they don't show her. Or they show her as a white woman, and or they show her as a black woman, right? And this just depends on the situation. But 300 years of ruling, right, and not being mixed up with other races or other people is kind of ludicrous to think about that. We're talking about 300 years. We're not talking about 10 years. We're not talking about 20 years. We're not talking about 30 years. We're talking about 30 times 10. We're talking about 300 years. Okay? That's what we're talking about here. So we just don't know. So the fact of the matter is the following. Based on all this that we just read here, I mean, Netflix and Jada Pinkett were totally in the right to select right a black actress to portray Cleopatra. What the hell? What the hell? Right? They were totally in their right. All the rest is just BS. To be honest with you, just something to excite the crowds. But when we come down to it, it's a non-event, right? Now, I'm going to show you where it's even worse, right? Where it's even worse, right? So let's look and let's go like directly. But and by the way, the same thing goes to the fact that since we don't know, we can even portray her as a white woman, like here Liz Taylor. It doesn't matter, right? Because we just don't know. We're not sure. Seems like there's a gap. There's a gap. There's a missing informations that to confirm us if she was definitely like white or if she was white. Again, it's like I'm saying, 300 years and nobody tampering into your genetic code is kind of like unseen, right? Okay, so let's go that way here, right? And bear with me because I just need to read you the whole stuff, right? Again, I just want to apologize. My English is not the best, but I just want to do it in English so that yeah, I mean that's what I want to do. I'm doing like in French and in English, right? But this one is in English. I want to do it in English, so just bear with me a second. So let's read this, right? Because it's really interesting. The reason why it is interesting is if you have had some doubt about what I've told you here, that we're not sure about, let's say, her, who was our mother, who was our grandmother, who was our grandmother, then, guys, this is definitely makes sense, and also the fact that due to that, right, there's questioning and there's possibility 50% to 75%, right, that we don't know about our genetic code, and that's a lot. That's really a lot, right? So let's go to what they're saying here because we're going to hear a little bit one of the pretensions, one of the claims, some of the claims of these guys from Egypt who are backlashing that docu-series. I don't know why they're doing this, or so let's listen to them, right? And remember that the heart of the matter is that they've selected a black woman to play Cleopatra. Let's go. So again, this is coming from OK Bro. As soon as Netflix dropped the trailer for its upcoming docu-drama about ancient Egypt's Queen Cleopatra, drama started bubbling up online, like I was just telling you guys. The preview quickly drew criticism. Some Egyptian complained that the feature was we're appropriating their culture and rewriting their history, primarily because Cleopatra is portrayed by a black woman in the film, right? So that's the heart of the matter now. So they're claiming that we're trying to steal their history, right? Because Cleopatra was portrayed as a black woman. Wow, this is unbelievable. I just cannot believe. But again, just remember that, right? Remember this one. Remember this one. Primarily because Cleopatra is portrayed as a black woman, right? And let's go down the line, right? Let's read paragraph by paragraph, right? The movie produced by Jenda Pinkett Smith and starring biracial British actor Adele James as Queen Cleopatra. He's set for release on May 10th, which is already happened. Watched it yesterday. Was really pleased about it, my friends. It is the second part of a Netflix docu-series of African queens focused on female rulers from the African continent, which is great. Loved it. I watched the other one. There was one queen of I don't know what, and that was awesome. That was awesome. I think that's a great idea, actually. In the latest official response to the controversy, Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities issued a long statement at the end of April stressing that Queen Cleopatra, right? Queen Cleopatra had light skin and Hellenistic Greek features. No worries. We don't really care, right? Right now, this is just mumbo jumbo because below you're going to say something that is putting your foot in your own mouth, right? So just hold on, right? Hellenistic, blah, blah, blah. And light skin, what does light skin mean at the end of the day, right? Because at the end of the day, when you look at that girl here, she's light skinned to me, right? She's light skinned to me because me, when I look at myself, damn, man, I'm really darker than her, most definitely. And when we look at her, right, she's as fair as this girl, right? And I do believe that that girl is light skinned, right? So let's keep going. Let's keep going and see all the stupidity that's going on in this world. So the statement criticized Netflix for casting James, whom the ministry said has African features and dark skin to play Cleopatra. If that is not prejudice, and if this is not what I'm talking about, I just don't want to say the word, right? I just don't want to say the word, right? But I do believe that this is totally crazy. Yeah. So I'm gonna read it again just for fun. The statement criticized Netflix for casting James, who the ministry said has African features and dark skin to play Cleopatra. When you are saying African features, what the freaking F does that mean, right? Because I do believe that we have people from Central Africa, we have people from West Africa, we have people from North Africa, we have people that have different type of features, right, in Africa, sir. And I would just say that whether we look at it, whether like the way that this is brought up is kind of, making me uneasy, to say the least. It is making me uneasy, right? So, who was Cleopatra and who is complaining? So, Cleopatra was the last ruler of ancient. She was a powerful queen. We know it. Her history, Hollywood, 30 years, community, politician, likely. Okay, well, we're talking about Cleopatra here. We already know. The history itself is cool, but the big issue is the complexion, right? They selected a black woman, right? Some critics of the upcoming Netflix version of her story have argued that while ancient Egypt is often portrayed inaccurately by Hollywood, fiction is one thing, but anything presented as a documentary is another thing. No worries. I'm going to go to your sense. No worries. Okay, let's say yes. Let's follow the train, right? So, since the film is classified as a documentary and not a drama, those making the film have to be accurate, and it should be based on historical and scientific facts to ensure that history and civilization are not falsified. The Egyptian mystery said, stressing that the rejection, and that's a funny one as well, right? And I didn't want to say the word, but they said it for me, right? The rejection of the film before its screening was in defense of the history of Queen Cleopatra, like if she needed you to defend her history, right? We know. And has nothing to do with racism. So, as if she needed you to defend her history and to defend that and that she must be like in her tomb, like crying and turning around because Netflix has decided to portray her as a black woman, right? And here they're saying, and has nothing to do with racism. That's funny, right? That's funny that when something is when something is something, right? People say that it's something else, right? And that's really funny, to be honest with you, right? And I'm not going to go into that, right? Because if I go into that, I'm going to go into deep, and I'm going to have problems with YouTube, and I don't want to have any issue with YouTube. But just keep in mind that Dev mentions the term racism. I didn't mention the term racism. I'm just reading it, right? So they just want to to tell everyone that, hey, people, we are not racist. We just don't want a black woman to play Cleopatra. Please keep that in mind as well, right? They are saying currently, what they are saying is that they are not racist, right? But Netflix made a mistake to select a black woman to play Cleopatra, and that it is not an accurate historical fact, right? That's what they're saying. So I guess that towards the end they are going to give us the answer. Because at the end of the day, if people are in the wrong, tell us what is in the right. Okay, so here we go. Okay, an Egyptian lawyer filed a formal complaint, unbelievable, against the film, asking the public prosecutor to investigate and take all legal measures against the creators of the work and against the platform management for participating in this crime. They calling this crime. I mean, guys, and ban the platform in Egypt. So guys, it's just unbelievable. The words that are being used, right? The words that are being used to try to discredit or to talk about, this movie because they selected a black woman again, because they selected a black woman again, because they selected a black woman to play Cleopatra is unbelievable. Crime, banning, falsify history, so on and so forth. That's unbelievable. And these are strong statements, right? And again, like I'm telling you guys, I hope that they're going to give us the answer. I hope that they're going to give us the remedy. How can we be forgotten? How can we say sorry? Like, what should we do? Right? Tell us what to do, Egyptians, right? Tell us, please. So we have known for thousands of years that Cleopatra is of Greek origin. Oh, maybe that's where they're going to tell us. Or what complexion we should have chosen for Cleopatra. So maybe they're starting here. Let's be very, very, very attentive. We have known for thousands of years that Cleopatra is of Greek origin and was born in Egypt. Bunch of fools. We knew that all along, right? This is a fact. Mahmoud El Samari said. The lawyer who filed the complaint told CBS News her main objection is the falsification of those facts, right? I don't know where they are saying that the fact that she's coming from that she has Greek origin has been falsified. I think that in the movie when they got married, they said they gave the name, right? Like pop Telome, pop this so walala. So yeah, they gave the name, right? Nobody is saying that she doesn't have any Greek origin, right? Nobody has told that. Who told you that, my friend? Who told you that? So it is not about being black that they said, or white, or even yellow. Listen to this one. That's a kill. That's a home run. Let's say they wanted to portray Cleopatra as a man. We will have also objected to that. Now, guys, this is beautiful. This is awesome. This is awesome of stupidity, right? I'm sorry to use that word. This is awesome of stupidity for someone who wants to appear smart, right? On top of that, he's a lawyer, right? So the example that he's giving us here, first of all, I thought that he was going to give us the answer, like how we should behave and who we should have picked, but that's not what he's saying, right? He's going around in circles to say absolutely nothing. And at the end, he's just looking even more absurd, stupid, right? Look at this. Let's say that they wanted to portray Cleopatra as a man. We would also object to that. Man, my friend, if you can give us the fact that Cleopatra was white, like we have the fact that she is a woman, right? We will make the change. Right now, you're taking an example of a fact, right, over something that is not yet a fact, right? Meaning that was she black or was she white? But we know for sure, for certain, that she was a woman. You are stupid. You are stupid, right? And you think that we are all stupid. So that's why I'm telling you guys, when you're reading stuff, don't listen to the song. Don't listen to the, like this guy. This guy, he talks well, right? He looks clean. This guy, he looks clean. He talks fine. So people want to listen to him and try to believe him, trying to say that, yeah, he seems honest, right? But that's a whole bunch of bull that he's talking about right now, right? So let's go back here and talk to and look at this lawyer, what he's saying, and look at the stupid example that he's taking here. Let's say we wanted, that's not the freaking same thing, man. That's not the same thing, and it's getting me upset. That's not the same thing. And stop taking us like we're stupid. We're not stupid. Right, so here we go. So now let's keep going. So here we thought that he was going to tell us, educate us, and tell us what to do, but here he looked even more stupid than at the beginning, right? So let's go down the line. Let me take a little bit of glass of water here. So does it matter if Netflix Cleopatra is black or white? I think that's where we're going to see that those guys, I don't know what they're talking about. So a feeling that the Egyptian protect its culture identity from appropriation, and that there are people actively trying to illegitimate claim it, appears to be the primary driving force behind the strong reaction to the next feature. Oh, a feeling Egypt. Yeah. That's what they want to tell us. That's what they want us to feel, that they want to protect their heritage, right? But what is their heritage, right? So some Egyptians believe that casting decision is part of the elaborate scheme uh, backed by black American celebrities to blackwash their ancient history. I don't. So, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. This to me is the agenda to discredit what they call Afrocentrism, the Afrocentrism movement. I think that that's the underlying real reason where they're coming to, right? Because they're just scared. They're just scared because they know that there's things that are hidden under the rug in there, in the way that they present, like the Egyptian, especially the ancient Egyptian culture and civilization. They know that there's something. And at the end of the day, please remember what Michael Jackson said, right? The truth run marathons. And little by little, like, we weren't sure that there were some black pharaohs. We know now that there was dynasties of black pharaohs, right? This guy, what Zaire Hawass is doing his best to mess us up and trying to remove black people from Egyptian history, but ain't gonna happen. And as we go forward, right? As we go forward, we are going to discover even more stuff. And I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of stuff that have been hidden, right? Because they relate to black, right? And why does he want it to be banned in Egypt? Why does he want it to be banned in Egypt, right? I don't know why, but why does he want it to be banned in Egypt? What do they want us to be banned in Egypt? So let's keep going. I am against the film because it is pushing an Afrocentric agenda, regardless of the historical accuracy of whether Cleopatra is black or white. But I don't understand that, right? I mean, something is black or is white. If I tell you it's black or it's white, I'm in the right. What he's saying to us right now, and guys, again, right? I'm going to bring back that case of Michael Jackson and Oprah, because that reminds me really, really what happened with Oprah when she was backing up those two liars, those two crooks, right? Who tried to steal, to rob Michael Jackson heritage and money, right? So what Oprah was saying is that whether these guys are right or wrong, whether these guys are right or wrong, remember that, right? I mean, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if they kill the legacy of Michael Jackson. It doesn't matter if his kids are hurt. It doesn't matter if his kids lost all their fortune and now are poor in the street, which I guess would never happen. But what she says is that the truth doesn't matter. The truth doesn't matter. The only thing that counts, right, is the underlying story of seduction. Right? That's what she's talking about. That's what she said. So it doesn't matter who gets killed in the process, right? It's just that matters, right? And that's what they're telling us here. We are making a big fuss because you selected a black woman, right? But in reality, it doesn't matter. She's black or what? Guys, are you guys like reading the same thing and kind of smelling the same thing that I'm smelling? Like BS, right? So yes, I don't understand. So they're making all that fuss because they selected a black woman. But what they're saying here is that I am against the film because it is pushing an Afrocentric agenda, regardless of the historical accuracy of whether Cleopatra was black or white. Egyptian archaeologist Dr. Monica Hanna told the CBS News, that is totally crazy. So it means that right here, all the fuss that is being done, if because they select a black, is bullshit. That's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is to do counterweight to that Afrocentrism movement that actually challenging you, right? Because you're claiming that all this stuff is wrong. That's what they're challenging you. You got to answer, but right now you have no answer. So you're trying to use like a false type of angle to try to attack them, and even that angle is crooked. It doesn't make sense. So let's listen to the following. Egyptian archaeologist Dr. Monica. Oh, Dr. Monica. So yeah, you know what? And that's one of the things that people use to really shut you up, right? This is something people really use to shut you up. Yeah, doctor. So when it's called doctor here, right, it means that you know what you're talking about, right? And that's how they used to have us before. But now, guess what? Black people have doctors too, right? So they can also write things like Dr. Muyabene, right? Or Dr. Nkulu, right? And maybe also sound smart, right? Here we go. We also have doctors now. So what is that doctor is going to tell us? Okay, they are imposing the identity politics. Oh, they are imposing the identity politics of the 21st century and appropriating the ancient Egyptian past, just as the Eurocentric and the far right in Europe are doing. When you're saying that, what are you saying that European, whatever? I don't understand what she's saying. It's like she's mixing everything up. This is like totally crazy, right? It's like a stew. So they are imposing the identity politics of the 21st century and appropriating the ancient Egyptian past. You just said here that historical accuracy or whatever it is, she was black or white, doesn't matter. And we know and I know at least why you're saying that, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people know exactly why you're saying that too, right? And we're going to go down, and actually you're going to say it, right? At the bottom, because let's not forget she is an archaeologist, so in terms of archaeology she must know what she's talking about. I hope so. So let's go. So the Afrocentism are just a mirror of the European, argued Anna. They are both racist and both inaccurate and incorrect. You know what? Don't use the term racist, right? Don't use the term racist, because it might hit you and hit you in the behind, right? Yeah. Yeah, because racism, if people have the recipe of racism, I'm not gonna go into in there, right? Because right now what she's doing, right, she's calling black people racist, right? She's calling us racist. Is there some racist people in the black people community? Yeah, must be, could be, yeah, definitely could be. But there's definitely could be some racist people in Egypt. Definitely could be some racist people in United States. And from what I understand, again, I'm going to say it again, black people weren't in the position to dictate history or to write history, right? Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going, guys. I understand why Egyptians are angry. So she keeps going with her ranting, blah blah blah. She just insulted a bunch of people, right, including myself. So I understand why Egyptians are angry, but I reject any racist comments. I reject any racist comment. Yeah, obviously, you better like to call other people racist, right? Okay, so Egyptians were let down by their formal studies of their past. Such debate and critical issues are never part of the school curricula. That's why Egyptians have a very fragile understanding of their past. So, are you telling us that the Egyptians actually don't know about their past? Right? So, how can they discuss what their past is if they don't know what it is? And how can you say that people are trying to appropriate the Egyptian past if you don't even know what the Egyptian past is? Right? So, no worries, no worries. Let's go, guys. Just bear with me a second. Again, like I'm saying, excuse my French, or I would say, excuse my English. Sorry, I'm doing it all for you guys, right? I'm doing it all for you guys. So, Let's go. So ancient Egyptians were all colors. Okay, no worries. I agree with that. According to Anna, Egypt was more of a culture than a race, and the idea of skin color is really irrelevant in the ancient world. Well, well. I'm not that sure, but if you say it, right? Uh, uh, you know what? I just believe that's a BS again, and that's just that's just an exit to try to avoid certain discussions, right? And certain realities, right? Because at the end of the day, she's telling us here, guys, don't look to see if there were black pharaohs or black this or white this or whatever, right? Everything was just cultural. Race didn't matter. We were colorblind. So, which I really doubt, right? But again, that's what she's telling us. So I guess she's a doctor. We have to follow her. We have to believe her. Nah, not really. Not really. So the Antiquity Ministry statement said the Antiquity Ministry's statement said that Cleopatra was descendant from a Macedonian family. We're cool with that. That ruled Egypt for nearly 300 guys, 300 years. As per custom of the time, kings married their sisters and kept their Macedonian race pure during this period. Many archaeologists shared the government's take on Egypt's ancient history and leave no room for doubt about the queen's color, the queen's skin color. So what was it? What was it? They didn't tell us. So let's read it again. Sorry guys, let's read it again. Ancient Egypt. Let's read it again. Let's read it again, please. They're telling us that what ancient Egyptian were all colors, according to Anna. Okay, Egypt. She's a doctor again. Egypt was more of a culture than a race. Okay, and all of that. So the antiquity ministry statement said Cleopatra was descendant from a Macedonian family that ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years. Wow, they're teaching us a lot of stuff that we didn't know, man, because it's their history. 300 years, we didn't know that. And as per custom of that time, kings married their sister and kept their Macedonian race pure during this period. Many archaeologists share the government's take on Egypt's ancient. And when we say many, I mean this is many doesn't mean all of them, right? Many means a lot of them. They got a lot of money, right? So the government has a lot of money, so they can do a lot of stuff. Many archaeologists share the government's take on Egypt's ancient history and leave no room for doubt about the queen's skin color. But by the way, a lot of them, but not all of them, my friend. So please, please, please behave. But Anna told CBS News the facts from more than 2,000 years ago were less clear. Right? Here we go. We do not know for sure whether Cleopatra was black or white or even red. So, man, guys, do you kind of see that this is going nowhere? I'm sorry, I told you at the beginning. Asking the question is answering it. We just don't know, right? So we're going around in circles. They're giving us all kinds of leads, like if we are all sure that she was white, but they don't want to say the word. They don't want to say the word. They don't want to confirm it. They just say here, everybody is sure about her skin color, right? Everybody's, about her skin color, and leave no room down about her skin color. And then in this, just the paragraph below, but Anna told the news fact from more than news that facts from more than 2,000 years ago were less clear, right? And what is she saying here? We do not know. We do not know. We do not know for sure whether Cleopatra was black or white or even red. And we don't even know if she thought of her as an Egyptian. But this is blah blah. This is bullshit. Sorry. This is BS, right? So, said the archaeologists, we have not discovered her tomb, we have not been left with any contemporary description of her. We do not know who her mother was, nor our grandmother was. You remember what I told you earlier that we saw here in that text? That's exactly where she's coming from. We are not certain of the heritage of Cleopatra's mother or our paternal grandmother, right? So here we are coming back to the same thing. They don't freaking know, and they're messing with us day in day out to tell us that Netflix didn't do something right. What are they talking about, man? Seriously, we have not discovered her tomb. We have not left with any contemporary description of her. We do not know who her mother was, nor her grandmother was. We can argue about her complexion and whether she identified herself as an Egyptian or not, she added. But most likely, we will not find a real answer because maybe it doesn't exist yet, right? So guys, again, right? Oh my God, what can I say? They are freaking like busting our ears day in day out with claims that why did you select a black actress when they don't freaking have any knowledge if she was black or if she was white. And as far as I know, 300 years from me, somebody must have tampered in those genes. that's my take on that, right? And I can believe that. I can be right. I can be wrong, but I can be right because we just don't know, right? So whether you portray her as a black woman, if you want to portray her as a white woman or a white woman, that's your problem. That's your thing, right? But I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to tell you what though. 300 years to me makes more sense that she has a little bit black in her than saying that she kept like her bloodline pure for 300, that they kept their bloodline pure for more than 300 years, right? I would doubt that. That's my take on that. That's my take on that, right? But it was just to tell you guys that all this fuss about selecting a black woman doesn't just doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day we don't know. So anybody has the right, if they have their own belief, their own understanding of what they read, to portray her or as a white woman or as a black woman. The only thing that they cannot do is like this stupid guy is saying. Let's say that we wanted to portray Cleopatra as a man, yeah, then we'll have a problem. And not only the Egyptian would have a problem with Netflix, but everybody, we will all have a problem with Netflix, right? So definitely. So again, guys, I'd like to hear what you guys are saying about that. I'd like to hear what you guys are saying about that, what you believe, and if you've made the research, drop me some comments here. I'd like to keep the discussion alive. That's going to be great. That's an interesting subject. That's really interesting. But it's just to show you guys that it's good sometimes to do a little bit of research and just not be spoon fed with the information that is irrelevant. And definitely, when we look at the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and all that, we see that they're trying to protect something, and maybe it's not. They're trying to protect something, right? They're trying to protect something. I don't know what. I could maybe have a certain feeling of what it is, but yeah, they're trying to protect something. There's now another point that I want to make here, because here we are talking about yeah, Cleopatra, right? We are talking about Cleopatra being white. We are talking about people being angry that Cleopatra was portrayed. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. What's his name, man? This is Zaire. This is Zaire. The guy, he doesn't want to hear anything that Egyptian was black. Oh, this guy. So I mean, there's other. I mean, yeah, we like I said, we were talking a lot about now, yeah, Cleopatra being black. Okay, that's one thing. That's one thing. No worries. But as you see, they were also talking about trying to blackwash history, trying to blackwash history. I think, guys, that this is an insult to me. To me, that sounds like a freaking insult. That sounds like a freaking insult. And man, I don't take that. I don't like to hear that. Right? Blackwash history, blackwash Egyptian history, right? That okay, they're going on a crusade against the against what? They're going on a crusade against the Afrocentric movement, as they call it, saying that they are like the European centric movement, American centric movement, stuff like that, that are whitewashing and doing all that stuff. Man. Again, I was saying something here, and that's why I put that title here: blackwashing history versus. Is it really? Are we really blackwashing history? Or are we just trying to save our black history? Are we just trying to get back our black history, right? That has been stolen from us. What people are trying to tell us and what people are content is that black people, the history of black people should be in the forest of Africa, in the savannah where they build their little huts. And yeah, I mean they have they nice dresses, they're naked and all that. I mean the cultures are absolutely awesome. Wow, it's really beautiful. So that's how they content to see us, and that's what they want to portray us day in and day out. So obviously, when we go out of that track and we're trying to say that, example, it is the African people this does discover, people of Africa are the actual one who discovered America, that African people went to and colonized all of almost the American peninsula, and did like were really advanced technologically, right? Created stuff that people don't even know how it was made, and brought that technology abroad and stuff like that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. What they want to hear is that Kunta Kinte fought to come back to Africa after being, escaped from the slave trade. What they want to see is Amistad, right? Going on a trip, the boat, the slave trade, and all that. That's what they want us to be, right? What they wanted us to be is like gang banging on the streets and stuff like that, right? That's our heritage. That's the heritage that they want us to be, right? They don't want to hear that black people have had a civilization that was maybe more advanced than the Roman civilization, more advanced than any civilization, and that basically, right, the starting point of all the technologies that we see here is coming like from black people, right? They don't want to hear that. Why would they want to hear that, right? So when we are saying blackwashing history, that's an insult for me, because I have the feeling that they're taking me for somebody that is stupid, right? I have the feeling that they think that I don't think, right? And I have the feeling that they think that people don't think, right? Why? Because some people do not think, right? Like this girl here, she don't think. I'm sorry, she don't think. Just to come and say and carry that narrative to say that, oh, if black people want a hero, right, they can find a hero. Oh, yeah, go find Kunta Kinte, go find I don't know who, Martin Luther King, or stuff like that. That's what she's telling us, because these are the people that they give us, that they assassinated, Malcolm X and all that. They are great people. They assassinated them, right? But there are people like for a movement, right? Movement. But in history, they don't want to hear about black people accomplishing stuff. They don't want to hear that. That they build the pyramids, right? Things that currently we don't even know how to do, right? And when I hear And when I hear that we're supporting without even at face value, without even doing any research whatsoever, that we're supporting and that we're criticizing, right, our peers from doing for doing this type of show, right, from standing up for this is really pissing me off. I'm telling you seriously. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. People should think. People should think. People should do their research, right? And not just look for clickbaits, right? Same thing. Same thing here. Same thing for this guy here. Same thing for this guy who's going in the same way, right? Listening to the song of this guy talking. Well, if you listen to this, first of all, guys, I'm going to ask you: listen to this guy talk. He's on. I think it was like morning. I don't know what. Yeah, with Peace Brannon, right? Listen to this guy talk, right? And you're going to listen. At one point, he's going to say what he really wants. He wants that for movies like that, instead of taking like, since he's talking about Egypt, we want him to take an Egyptian actor, right? That's what he wants. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying, right? Because other things that he's saying does not make sense to me. It just don't make sense to me. So really, people, when we're talking about black washing history, that's an insult. That's something I don't know. It's like saying that black people were doing slave trade with were doing were slavers of Arab people or white people or stuff like that. That's the same thing that it means to me when they're saying that we're black washing history. That's totally ludicrous. That's totally ridiculous. If there's something that we're doing is saving black history, is getting back our identity, is getting back our history, right? That's what we're doing, right? That's what we're trying to get. And you know what? It ain't stopping now. It's not stopping. That's a movement that's not going to stop, because I do believe that yes, maybe black culture has not done everything, but we've done some stuff, right? We've done some stuff, and not just like they say, running naked, running naked in the savannah or in the jungle, right? Which is already something to be able to do. It's not easy. But in any case, so that's my take on that, guys. So two things to come back to it. Two things. The choice of the black actress and all that backlash, again, like I was telling you at the beginning. I remember I saw like a long time ago a show on TV where they were rerunning kind of how can I say, what was that, in court. They would the kind of the trial of is it Lee Harvey Oswald or something like that, Kennedy and stuff, and the lawyer was, let's say, the defense lawyer was saying, okay, guys, you know what, today during that trial, you see that closet is closed. I'm going to tell you absolutely everything that is in that closet, and actually I'm going to open it and show you what's in that closet as well, right? But at the end of the day, people are going to say that this is not what is in the closet, and and they're going to judge my client as such, right? So at the end of the day, that's a little bit the same thing. I've told you ahead of time how it was going, what was going to be in there. Was Cleopatra black? That's the non-issue. That's a non-issue. Asking the question again, I told you, was answering it, and the people who answered it. Not only you got independent people answering it, but you got those Egyptian themselves answering it, right? So all these issue that you see here about like selecting, that's BS, right? Maybe they have an agenda just to maybe attack from another angle the what they call the Afrocentric movement, right? Because maybe the Afrocentric movement is the one that is telling them that, hey, 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 yo, guys. Do you remember? Do you know that there was a Black Pharaohs dynasty? The 25th dynasty was Black Pharaohs, right? So yeah, they kind of upset because they're on the watch. They're on the watch. They cannot do anything, everything that they want to do freely. Now, so that's the first thing, right? So was Cleopatra black? We already solved that, right? It's a non-issue anymore, right? All that is ridiculous, ludicrous type of discussions that we're having right now, and don't listen to this kind of crap. The other thing now that is also like enormous, gigantic, as it is stupid, right, is to say that black people are trying to blackwash history. We don't have that power to blackwash history. We are not the victor of anything to write history and to blackwash it, right? Uh, on the contrary, history has been whitewashed from so many time against the black people, right? That it is funny that we are getting accusation like that, right? It's unbelievable. And again, I'm saying that what we are trying to do, what people are trying to do, is to save black history, is to regain black history. Yeah, is to to put back the fact at the place that they really are, right? So guys, I hope that you appreciated that show. And again, please do subscribe and like the video and leave some comments below. We're trying to build something, and hopefully I will, once we'll have enough people, I would like to host some debates, because debates for me are very important, because all of these people are talking like on their side. Everybody is in his house and on his, so there's no challenge, direct challenge. When you put people together face to face, then you kind of have the sense, the feeling on who is who is leaning on the I mean, you have a better feeling, right? I don't say that maybe the most eloquent is always the guy who's right, or the girl who's right, but I think that there's a better dynamic in there, right? A better dynamic. And I'd like also to invite like some of the people who are looking, or some of the subscriber, to maybe have discussions and all that. So yeah, a lot of things yeah, a lot of things planned, a lot of things ahead, but before we are able to do that, we need to have a minimum of subscribers and comments and all that, so that we can actually this can actually be viable. So please subscribe, please again like the video, and I'll be talking to you some other time. In the meantime, yeah, please guys, just listen to that, look at that movie, do your research after that, and make your own decision, and especially leave me some comments down there, right? Leave me some comments. So love you all. Talk to you guys later. Usually I never stop, I know. Usually I do some videos like UFC and all that stuff, but actually I do videos about everything, right? So not only about one thing in particular, like this one about Cleopatra, because really this was a topic that was calling me, that was talking to me, that was making sense to me. So yeah, makes total sense. And when I hear like things like blackwashing history, it just drives me crazy. So here we go, man. Listen to that video. I mean, Cleopatra's I don't know if people would have found it a fun woman like back in the days, because I mean, people used to play hardball during that period, but this she had a wild history. And when people said, she almost did it, man, twice. She almost did it. She just wasn't lucky, man. She just wasn't lucky. I'm sorry, I have to do some extra time, because yeah, just, I mean, she just wasn't lucky. She almost did it. When people say that, like, she almost ruled Rome, but at least she almost got Egypt's the independence from Rome. She almost ruled Rome. Her son with Julius Caesar was one of the most powerful baby, if not the most powerful baby back then. And also after that, I mean, she had kid with Mark Antony, who could have been also taking I don't know if he would have won his face off with Augustus. I mean, the sky's the limit. So I don't know, man. It's just that it is what it is. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but she almost did it, man. She almost did it. That's crazy. She was close. She was so close and so many times close, right? But I guess it is what it is. The some of the decisions, I guess. But hey, it is what it is. Maybe we'll have another discussion about that some other time. Okay, so guys, love you, guys and gals. Love you all. Take care. Have a great weekend. And during this weekend, maybe I'm going to do some other stuff. Okay, so take it easy. And again, drop some comments. Like to hear about you. Thank you guys. Like to hear about you, but I especially like to hear also about what you think about all the discussion and about this subject here. Two subject about the blackness of Cleopatra, what the Egyptian is saying, and what is there, what they're basing what they're talking about on, and also especially about the blackwashing of history that they claim that we're doing. All right. Talk to you later, guys. Bye. Have a nice one.